Yo, a request for Immortal technique, son? I'm hyped. Roll it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Channel's name is TheThirdErnest. I'm Ernest Ariano III, y'all guys' third family. If you're new here and you're not subscribed and you like what you see at the end of the video, consider clicking the subscribe button along with the notification bell bottom right hand corner. Now, I have like a really strange relationship when it comes to Immortal technique, because I know that he is a solid, iconic rapper at this point. He is an icon in the rap game. He is gonna garner a lot of people's respect on the mainstream side, rappers, and a lot of fans' respect, but he's one of those artists that like I haven't listened to a lot of his catalog, mainly because it's so extensive. So I have not heard this song whatsoever. So I was hyped when I saw that we had a Immortal request technique. Immortal request technique. We had an Immortal technique request. And this request comes from, Ron Pierce. Ron, my guy, I really appreciate your request. I know that you requested this months ago and I'm finally getting to it. I know it took some time, but I appreciate your patience. Anybody else that potentially wants to get a request in and support the channel directly in this. You done? Anybody else that wants to support the channel directly and you're in a monetary capable position to do so, consider joining the Patreon. First link in the description. It is the only way that I make money. I do this full time because of the people who are willing to support on Patreon. So if you can do that, that would greatly be appreciated. But that's all that I really got to say. I'm excited to get into this one. So follow your boy on Instagram and on Twitter at TheThirdErnest, just like the channel. The links are down in the description below. And we got Immortal technique, point of no return. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's that real this time around. Immortal technique.
I do know that this song is mad old. This was uploaded in 2011, and if I'm not mistaken, this song was like even older than that.
Revolutionary Volume 2. It's on now, motherfucker. Lock and load. This is the point of no return. I can never go back. Life without parole upstate.
This beat goes hard. All right, I'm hyped. This is why I like Immortal Technique's music, the music that I have listened to, because he chooses beats very well. He's a very, his voice, his delivery is like rugged, and it's like, it's just got that gritty feel to it, you know what I'm saying?
This is the point of no return. I can never go back. Life without parole, upstate, shackled and trapped, living in the hole, looking at the world through a crack. But fuck that, I'd rather shoot it out and get clapped. I've gone too far.
This is the point of no return. I never go back. I'd rather shoot it out and get clapped. I'd rather shoot it out and get clapped. Either I'm gonna be dead or I'm going to jail, and I ain't going to jail. You know, that type of vibe.
Fuck that. I'd rather shoot it out and get clapped. I've gone too far. There ain't no coming back for me. Auschwitz gas chamber full of Zyklon B. Ooh. Just like the Spanish exterminating Tainos, raping the black and Indian women, creating Latinos. Motherfuckers make.
That rhyme was a little weak right there, but I get what he's talking about. Like it was weak, and it might be, it's all subjective, I guess, but like in my personal in my opinion, like in order for a rhyme to be at least a solid foundation for a rhyme, it has to rhyme multiple syllables. So like right there, that last one when he said Indian women creating like Latinos and Tainos, like Tainos doesn't rhyme fully with Latinos, so to me it's like a weaker rhyme, but I get what he's saying. And I get the shock value of him talking about the extermination by like raping and pillaging black and Indian women, and Auschwitz gas chamber was Zyklon B, if I'm not mistaken. That was the chemical that they dropped in there. Let me look it up real quick. Zyklon B. Zyklon B was the trade name for cyanide-based pesticide invented in Germany in the early 1920s. It consisted of hydrogen cyanide. The product is notorious for its use by Nazi Germany during the Holocaust to murder approximately 1.1 million people in gas chambers.
Black and Indian women creating Latinos. Motherfuckers made me out of self-righteous hatred, and now you got yourself a virus stuck in the matrix. A suicide bomber strapped and ready to blow. Lethal injection strapped down, ready to go. Don't you understand?
I'm assuming he's talking about himself as these like horrific things on Earth, like these, like you created this monster, basically. You know what I'm saying? You created this monster, which is a virus, like you're stuck in the Matrix, which is obviously, if you've never seen the Matrix, the world is the Matrix. The real world is not the real world. This is just a facade that's put on by software. Suicide bombers strapped and ready to blow. Lethal injection strapped down, ready to go. That's tight wordplay right there in rhyme scheme, because it's like suicide bombers strapped with the bomb, but lethal injection, you're strapped down. It's clean.
Lethal injection, strapped down, ready to go. Don't you understand? They'll never let me live out in peace. Concrete jungle, guerrilla war out in the streets. Ooh. Nat Turner with the sickle, pitchfork, and machete. The end of the world, motherfucker, you not ready. This is
the sickle, pitchfork, and machete. That's clean. Guerrilla war out in the streets. Like guerrilla warfare was a certain tactic that was used in the jungle. It's clean.
The end of the world, motherfucker, you not ready. This is the point of no return and nobody can stop it. Malcolm Little when he knelt before Elijah Muhammad, the comet that killed the dinosaurs, changing the earth. They love to criticize, they always say I changed for the worse. Like prescription pills when you misusing them, nigga. The Templar Knights when they took Jerusalem, nigga, and figured out what was buried under Solomon's temple, Al-Aqsa. The name is not coincidental. I know.
Yo, he's just like the way that he's spitting these facts, like what he's talking about. Like just all of these pivotal points in either like human history or like world history, the comet that killed the dinosaurs, changing the earth, Malcolm Little running up before Elijah, like just all of these moments that changed the way history was written. And he's like, I'm at that point right now personally. Just the concept of like the song, just the point of no return track title, and then he's using literally all these points where history could never go back. You know, it's dope.
Al-Aqsa, the name is not coincidental. I know too much, the government is trying to murder me. No coming back like cutting your wrists open vertically. How could the serpent be purposely put in charge of the country? Genetic engineered sickness spread amongst me. My people.
See, like right here, his rhymes are not like they're not as top tier as I've heard them before. But what he's saying in the song in terms of the concept and the way all their lyrics relate to the point of no return. I know too much, the government trying to murder me. No coming back. Again, the point of no return, like cutting your wrists open vertically. And that's something that like a lot of people don't even think about. But I remembered like distinctly in my psychology classes whenever I was in college, our professor was talking about how like whenever somebody is cutting their wrist or they're cutting themselves, the tendons that like are in your wrist that make your hand move and wrist move, these tendons that you can feel, like these are way too strong to ever cut through. And that's why psychologists are like if you see that, or if you see someone doing that to themselves, they haven't quite gotten to the point where they want to fully be suicidal, but it is like a telling sign that they need to get some help, that you need to be a good friend or family member or whatever and try to get that person help. That right there out of all of them is probably like the most jarring and the most like visceral line that I can think of, because that's like you can see it in front of you. Like we learn about Auschwitz and we learn about like the gas chambers and all that, but to a lot of us, it hits because it's a very sad thing, but it's not something that we can directly relate to. But you could probably do like 3 or 4 steps of separation and know somebody who has like self-inflicted harm themselves, you know? And the serpent purposely put to run our country, like it's obviously talking about like the serpent man and things like that. I don't believe in any of that shit, but still, I get what he's saying.
Genetic engineered sickness spread amongst me. My people are so hungry that they attack without reason, like a fucking dog ripping off the hand that feeds them. Immortal technique is treason to the Patriot Act. So come and get me, motherfucker, cause I'm not coming back. This is the point from which I can never return. And if I back down now, then forever I burn. This is the point from which I can never retreat. Cause if I turn back now, there can never be peace. This is the point from which I will die, succeed, live in the struggle. I know I'm alive when I bleed. From now on, it can never be the same as before. Cause the place that I'm from doesn't exist anymore. This is the...
It's fire. Like the production is kind of a little lacking. I don't know how old this song is. I don't know if this is just a bad version. It's one of the things with like looking up songs on YouTube is that you don't know if it's an ultra compressed, or you don't know if it's a bad version of the same song that was technically mastered in studio better. But you know, it's decent. It's a decent hook. Again, like I said, it just further gets the point across that we are at this pivotal moment. This is the point of no return for myself personally, you know?
Place that I'm from doesn't exist anymore. This is the point of no return, nigga. You better believe this. Mary Magdalene giving birth to the children of Jesus. The evolution of the world, bloody and dramatic. Human beings killing monkeys to conquer the planet. The kingdoms of Africa.
Human beings killing monkeys to conquer the planet. He's obviously talking about like scientific experimentation, but that was fire just because of like the whole Planet of the Apes vibe. That was dope right there for sure. And then Mary Magdalene giving birth to children of Jesus, like just the biblical stories that he's talking about. And he said the evolution of the world is bloody and dramatic. That's a fire line, because at the end of the day, it is like it's true. Evolution is quite literally survival of the fittest, and a lot of times that means that blood has to be shed. Blood alone will move the wheels of history.
The planet, the kingdoms of Africa and Mesopotamia. Machine gun your body with depleted uranium. This is the age of microchips and titanium. The dark side of the moon, in contact with aliens. I started out like Australians, criminal-minded, broke into hell, tore it down and built a city behind it. Southpaw, murderous methodology, nigga. Remember that I'm just a man, don't follow me, nigga.
That Australian line was rowdy. That's dope. I started out like Australians, criminal-minded, because if you know anything about the start of Australia, it's like where the United Kingdom, India, I think it was UK. Like that's where they would ship like all of their criminals, and that's literally why it's one of the reasons why Australia has the Caucasian presence that it does. It's a crazy line.
And don't follow me, nigga, cause once you pass the point, you can never go home. You gotta face the possibility of dying alone. So tell me, motherfucker, how could you die for the throne when you don't even got the fucking heart to die for your own? It rains.
That's a bar. How could you die for the throne when you ain't even got the heart to die for your own? That's clean. This song, I'm still like kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I'm like on the fence with, cause it's I like the sentiment of the song. I like the subject matter of it, but like at some points, like the actual flow itself is lacking. And some points it's like, yeah, he's talking about actual historical facts, but then he also drifts off into conspiracy theories. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know which way I'm leaning on this one.
Tell me, motherfucker, how could you die for the throne when you ain't even got the fucking heart to die for your own? It rains acid, one day the earth will cry from a stone, and you'll be looking at the world living inside of a dome. Computerized humanity living inside of a clone. This is the place where the unknown is living and real. Wormwood, the planet X, and the seventh seal. Universal truth is not measured in mass appeal. This is the last time that I kneel and pray to the sky, cause almost everything that I was ever told was a lie. This is the point from which I
see, like that's what I'm talking about. Like that's drifting off into like conspiracy theory, and that's drifting off. But I mean, at the end of the day, like he said, like this is the last time I ever looked to the sky, because everything I was ever told was a lie. Now, personally, I do believe in God, and I was obviously raised Catholic. I might not be like actively in the church, but I do believe that there is a higher being. But I also completely understand where he's coming from, like the fallacy of what faith and religion is. Like, you don't believe a lot of things. You don't believe in science. You don't believe in the universe, but somehow you're willing to put your faith into literal like religion and faith. So I understand why he's like, this is the last time I look to the sky, because everything else that I've been told was a lie. So why would this not be a lie? It's just him trying to comprehend like the logic of why should I believe in one thing and not the other. You know, like I respect that. I might not agree personally, but I respect it.
Down now, then forever I burn. This is the point from which I can never retreat, cause if I turn back now, there can never be peace. This is the point from which I will die, succeed, live in the struggle. I know I'm alive when I bleed. From now on, it can never be the same as before, cause the place that I'm from doesn't exist anymore.
Fire. Bro, I'm a sucker for strings. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yo, like I said, personally, for Immortal Technique and what I know about him and his catalog and what I've heard, that is not the best song that I've heard from him. I've heard obviously he's got some solid bangers, but production wise and flow wise, like I said, I love the subject matter, especially when he's on the truthful side. It kind of drifts off a little bit for me into like into the conspiracy theory side, which kind of loses me a little bit, and the flow can be kind of choppy and not exactly his best. Like his multiple syllable rhyme scheme and rhyme schemes in general, internal rhymes, like they're not his best, but the beat goes hard, and the subject matter, when it stays on point, when it stays on where I want it to be, I like it for that. But what I will say is it is a good representation of Immortal Technique and his style and his music, so that's fire. And Ron, I appreciate the request, my guy. I didn't think that I would ever be reacting to some Immortal Technique. But yo, that brings us to the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you see, please consider liking the video, leaving a comment down below. If you like what you see enough, please consider subscribing. These long form breakdowns and feedback and thoughts, that's how we get down around here. So if you like the vibe, hit subscribe. If you potentially want to support the channel directly in the same way that Ron did, Ron was able to get a guaranteed request request because he is a subscriber on a certain tier on Patreon. Even if you don't subscribe at that tier, if you feel like you get enough entertainment out of the channel and you're willing and you have the capability and willing to part way with a little bit of your money to support me and what I do for you on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate it. If not everybody's capable, I understand, but just interacting with the videos and commenting and liking, that helps push the channel. Everybody plays their part around here, regardless if you're Patreon or not. But other than that, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord, all linked in the description. I am very active on all three, so if you want to catch me, that's probably going to be your best bet to catch me. But really, that brings us to the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody's time, and like I always say at the very end, go out there in the world, love and care for one another, love and care for each other, and I'll catch everybody on the next video. Peace.